So I'm a volunteer for the town, but I also have a website called thecompostgardener.com, and I've been working for a long time just examining all different ways that we can become composters, because there's way more than one way to skin this cat. So I was particularly interested in the Bokashi system because it didn't have a whole bunch of don't compost this, don't compost that. You can basically compost just about everything. So I wanted to start with this. I'm going to get you to just maybe put this up. So this is the organic waste diversion. What we're looking at, when we look at organic waste is the worst possible thing for us to put in a landfill. Landfills aren't designed to handle organic waste. They're designed to keep sort of pockets of stuff separate. What happens when you put a lot of organic waste in a landfill is you get the kinds of problems that they end up dealing with, like leachate, groundwater, contamination, methane, and that kind of thing. Those are all related to organics. They aren't related to any of the other garbage. So it's quite important that we try and get that out of the waste stream, if we can possibly get it out of the waste stream. So that's the first thing. We don't want it in the landfill because it's not designed to be in the landfill. The theory is that unlike, say, plastics you couldn't sort of go into your backyard and recycle a plastic and make it into something else. But compost you can make, and an average householder can manage their organic wastes. So it is feasible for us to get residents to do this. If we can get you guys to do this, and I'm among you guys, being a resident of High River, that means that we aren't driving a bunch of garbage around that we don't need to drive around, and we've got a really nice tight cycle. It's called a tight technical cycle. It means that we eat the food waste is immediately composted, the compost goes into our garden, we grow the food. So it's a nice tight cycle. In High River, about 40% of our waste year-round is organic waste that could be composted. And that would rise to maybe as high as 60, even more than 60% during the summer when you add grass and weeds and garden waste. So it's pretty big. And as Joe said, the vision is maybe someday if we could get everyone on board, then we could maybe end up only having to pick up garbage every second week, maybe even every third week, because the reason we have to pick it up so much is because it stinks. But it won't stink if we don't have the stuff that's rotting in it. So I wanted to give you an example of this city in Korea, Busan, Korea. Now it's nothing like us. We're population 12,000. They're 3.9 million. So most of the people in that city live in high-rise apartments. Of their waste, before they started doing any kind of bokashi, about 31% of their waste was food waste. And they wanted to see if they could change that. And just a small group of women in one of the high-rise apartment complexes decided to try and get people to do this bokashi. And now they have 45% of the households, 495,000 households, doing bokashi, and they've reduced their waste by 950 tons per day. So they've also, here, this is the thing I think is really interesting. In the landfill, they've improved the water quality. The leachate before was at about 35,000 parts per million of various contaminants. And now it's, a little less than 6,000. So it makes a significant difference if you can get that organic waste out. They actually transport it to the farms that surround there. And the farms use that bokashi as the fertilizer. So they do have a transport. They aren't putting it in a pit, but they are transporting it to like a whole bunch. The farms are immediately surrounding it. So it's not too far a distance, but they are moving it.